We're back. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it enough.
Welcome back to Boomer Life here on CL 650. That would be our producer, Dwayne Bishop's musical influence on this conversation. We're talking about Fleetwood Villa with our friends from Revera Retirement Living. So naturally, we had to have a little Fleetwood Mac music in the mix there. Thank you, Dwayne, so much. It's Sterling Fox, joined in studio by Simone Pellaire, the executive director at Fleetwood Villa in Surrey. Michelle Weibolt is their lifestyle consultant, and Kerry Jackson is with us as well from Revera BC head office in downtown Vancouver. We were talking about the whole retirement community phenomenon, the fact that a lot of the investigative work originally gets done by us boomers on behalf of our parents. But, you know, that's not always the case either. Sometimes parents, Simone, they don't need us all the time. We like to think they do, but, you know, they are our parents. They have been around longer than us. They know the ways of the world, and some of them just pick up the phone and go, you know, we'd like to come by and have a look at your place, and they do it all independently of their children, don't they?
They do. There are some who actually are thinking ahead. You know, they don't want to wait for a fall to happen.
Yeah.
They want to think ahead. They're getting tired of cooking and cleaning, and so they actually go to different communities. And when they come to us, Michelle, as I said, would do the discovery for them, and you know, we would find out what it is that they need in terms of, you know, socialization, or if they need assistance with the nurses. So yeah, so they like the children. They shop around.
Sure. And, of course, we haven't mentioned the website yet either, Carrie, and we probably should. It's reveraliving.com.
Yes, and it's just undertaken a huge overhaul. So in the last month, we've relaunched our website.
Okay.
And it's absolutely amazing. It has some great features. So for people that are looking, whether it's the resident themselves or the boomer children, there's a checklist that'll say, are you looking for X, Y, Z? And when you check those boxes, it'll help direct you to the types of communities that most fit your needs. Absolutely.
So it's a real user-friendly tool that you've added to the website.
Certainly. We used a focus group with seniors and with boomer-age children, as well as those just out in the community, to really define how the website should operate, and so we're really proud of it.
Oh, okay. Michelle, I wanted to talk to you about the kind of questions that we should be asking on behalf of mom and dad, and I wanted to begin with the trial stay, the old, look, you know, we'll be happy to show you around, and I imagine you're a most enthusiastic host. But, you know, that's maybe if you're lucky, you'll have a lunch and a tour, and that'll last probably, a couple of hours?
Yes.
And that's it. If you sense a certain level of interest, like, oh, I could do this. You can see that, but, you know, it's only a couple of hours. You're not sure. Is there an interim step? Is there can you stick around and stay for a few days?
Absolutely. Well, it's quite interesting. We do have what's called a respite suite, several suites. They're like hotel rooms. So you would check in just like a regular hotel, and then after a week or two, however long you want your stay to be, you check out.
Okay.
So we absolutely have a lot of potential residents that are a bit scared, a bit nervous. So I suggest they come and stay in the respite suite for a couple of weeks and have a feel for what our community's about.
Right.
And then on top of it, if they decide they want to move in, those respite suites can be used for family members who live further afield.
Okay.
If they've got a child in Edmonton who wants to come visit, well, they can rent the suite. And believe me, we charge, I believe it's $80 a night. Good value for money.
I was going to say.
Good value for money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to mention. You asked me, what are the questions? Well, the first question is always price.
Sure.
And, you know, that's a very fair question.
Of course.
We really need to look at our budget. But what I really want to propose to everyone is, when you're looking at the budget, look at value. Fleetwood Villa, the value is there absolutely unequivocally. So are we expensive? It depends on your budget. I don't think personally that we are that expensive when you factor in breakfast, lunch, dinner, weekly housekeeping. Generally at a minimum 8 activities per day. So it could be parties, bingo, choir, all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor on site, on and on. So when you think of the price and you hear the value, wow, is that ever value for money? So, but those are a lot of the questions I ask.
And
I get asked.
I think the other thing is, suppose now mom lives in the same house that you grew up in. So that means the mortgage was paid back in 1971. So I mean, there's no cost involved anymore, is there?
Yeah.
Nonsense. There is too. It's 2015. Nobody lives anywhere for free, especially in the most expensive city in Canada. So you got taxes. You got those people to come in and take care of the bushes so I don't have to fall off the ladder. You got the kid who shovels the snow in the wintertime. You got the paper boy. You've got the hydro. You've got the heat. All of that stuff. You're not living free. You're maybe not forking over the big mortgage payment that once upon a time ago you used to have to.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're in a condo, you're still paying condo fees every month. So, I mean, it's not apples and oranges, is it, Michelle, when you're saying, well, look at the cost, holy cow. Well, versus, well, I live virtually for nothing these days. You do the math on for nothing, and I'll bet you'll be pretty darn surprised at what that number adds up to every month.
Well, Sterling, you hit the nail on the head with that one, because you're absolutely right. When you sit down and you look at the cost, how much you're spending in groceries, how much you're spending getting the handy dart or having your kids drive you to the grocery store, cooking it, when you're looking at mowing the lawn and hiring. So all these things add up. And so when you take that into consideration and you look at our price, and again, our starting rate for a studio is $2,500 a month. It includes all of these services.
Right, okay.
Well, I'd be hard-pressed to find a 500 square foot studio in Yaletown for anywhere near that. Do you get the medical? Do you get the food?
Exactly.
You get none of that.
That's right.
Do you get the parties, the fun? So it really is value for money. It's fantastic value for money. But please don't let that be a hindrance to coming to talk to us, because maybe our community might be out of your budget, but perhaps our sister site might work with your budget.
Right.
So it really shouldn't be based on that. It should be based on the lifestyle that you're looking for, the care needs that you might have, proximity to family, and just your zest for life. That's really going to help determine which community is best.
You know, it occurs to me as I sit here looking at one of the notes that our producer has just put up on one of my screens. We haven't once, Simone, not once, since we sat down, have we identified the location of Fleetwood Villa. Would you, the executive director, be so kind as to let us know where we can find you?
Well, we just figured everybody knew.
That's right. Well, Fleetwood Villa is located in beautiful Surrey, BC. We're in the Fleetwood community area, so we're on 160th and 83rd Avenue.
Okay.
There's recreation. There's actually a couple of recreation centers close to us.
Right.
The Fleetwood Community Center and the
That's the
Surrey
one with the
Sports and
swimming
Leisure.
pools and the ice rinks and all. So you're not
That's
far
the Surrey
from there
Sports
at
and
all.
Leisure. We're only 2 blocks away from
Oh,
there.
okay,
And then
right.
the one that's diagonally across us is the Fleetwood Community Center, which has the library and also some a gym, I think, or other.
Okay, and are you close to transit lines and bus services to feed you to SkyTrain and all that business if you were interested in?
Oh yes, there's a bus stop that's close by.
Okay.
And then we also have a handy dart coming in, and we also have our own 18-passenger bus that transports our residents usually to the mall every Mondays, and then they have full-day bus trips on Thursdays.
Michelle, when we talk about independent living, and the reason I asked about the bus stop and SkyTrain is some people, and I know you have a bus, and I know you organize trips to the casino and the shopping mall, but some people still like to get on the bus and go down to the SkyTrain and go downtown and do a little shopping, get on the SkyTrain and come back. That's just part of being alive in Vancouver, and so there's no limitation
well,
on
please,
that.
if I can mention, it makes me laugh you mentioning that, Sterling. The reason being, we have a resident. We've nicknamed him Flirty Bert because he certainly does enjoy the ladies. But with Flirty Bert, what he does several times a week, he's 94 years old.
Oh boy.
He takes the bus from Fraser Highway, which is about a block and a half away, all the way to the Guildford Town Centre.
Okay, sure.
Takes the bus, does his carpet bowling, takes the bus back. That's twice a week, I think he does. And then every Saturday night, he walks a couple blocks down to the local pub because Saturday he needs his beer and burger. That's what he's entitled to, so that's what he's going to do.
Sure.
So there are myriad of opportunities to be able to get out, as Simone mentioned, whether it's the shuttle bus, whether it's the regular BC Transit, whether all sorts of things. Doesn't mean you got to stop living.
Exactly the opposite to they're going to lock me up and throw away the key, Carrie.
Absolutely. Couldn't be any further from the truth.
That's your ad. You people came up with that because I think it really does identify a fear, a very rampant fear in the minds of a lot of people. You're going to put me in one of those places, well, I might as well just hang it up right here.
Well, absolutely. It's the elephant in the room, right? Everyone, that's the thought. We're just calling it out because we want people to understand that it's nothing like that.
Right, exactly.
It's living.
And that's why I was asking you, Michelle, about, you know, if I'm a really independent person and I like to. Now, the only restriction I'm sure would be, you need to let somebody know that you're going to jump on the bus and go downtown.
Yes.
But you would do that as a courtesy to anyone, wouldn't
Well,
you?
we have a daily census check, so we
Okay.
require residents to sign in and sign out on our book, so at least we wouldn't have to worry about them.
Sure.
Same thing with family members; they sign in and out, you know, just so we know.
And please understand, we're not doing that to make them less independent. But what happens, we had one lady, she met and fell in love with another resident at Fleetwood Villa. They wanted to go on a boat cruise up to Alaska. Well, great, if they took off without signing out and I have their kids calling me,
Oh, boy.
I can't even imagine what would happen.
Sure.
So just out of a bit of respect and politeness,
Sure.
all they do is say, I'm not going to be here for lunch, or I'm going to go away for the weekend with my friend, call me, you know, next week, or just so we don't worry. And I don't think that's giving up independence. I think that's more than fair.
Well, I think that's not only keeping your independence with great zest, it's also being a little courteous to the people around you.
Exactly.
And it's nothing more than that. Simple courtesy, right?
And keep in mind, we're a family. There was one gentleman, he didn't make it to breakfast because he wanted to sleep in. Well, I had 10 residents coming down to my desk going, "Where's Bernie? Where's Bernie?" Well, people get used to everyone's habits.
Sure, sure.
And so when he wasn't there, it turns out he had a nice long sleep in and there was absolutely nothing wrong with him.
Right.
But so for reasons like that, we ask if you could just let us know, so when people are inquiring, we have an answer to give them.
Our guests in studio on this episode of Boomer Life are a very enthusiastic bunch from Revera's Fleetwood Villa in Surrey. And we're back with lots more right after this.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.